This is the story of a woman who turned marriage into a weapon. She chose the most powerful man in the city, a cold and untouchable CEO, to destroy those who betrayed her. But what she didn't know was that he had his own hidden motives. A secret so deep that when revealed, it would change everything. This is the story of how revenge became something neither of them expected. And you? What would you do if you discovered you married someone who was also playing a game? Sophia Moretti grew up in Portland, Oregon. Not in the wealthy hills overlooking the city, but in a modest neighborhood where people worked hard and dreamed carefully. Her childhood home was a small two-story house with chipped blue paint and a garden her mother tended every Sunday. The rain fell constantly in Portland, turning the streets into rivers of gray, but Sophia loved it. She loved the sound of water against the windows. The smell of wet earth. The way the city felt alive even in the gloom. She became a graphic designer. Not because it was glamorous, but because she was good at it. She worked for a mid-sized marketing firm downtown, in an office with exposed brick walls and too much coffee. Her co-workers liked her. Her boss respected her. She wasn't rich, but she was stable. She was building something. And then she met Lucas Grant. Lucas was everything Sophia thought she wanted. Tall, charming, with a smile that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. He worked in real estate development, always talking about the next big deal, the next opportunity. He wore expensive suits and drove a car that turned heads. He made Sophia feel like she was part of something bigger. They dated for 2 years. He proposed on a rainy evening at Powell's City of Books, her favorite place in the world. He got down on one knee between the shelves of poetry and promised her forever. 3 weeks before the wedding, Sophia's world collapsed. She found out by accident. A text message on his phone while he was in the shower. Just one message. But it was enough. It was from Melissa. Her best friend since college. The woman who helped her pick out the wedding dress. The woman who was supposed to be her maid of honor. The text was explicit. Intimate. Clearly not the first. Sophia confronted them both. Lucas didn't even try to deny it. He looked at her with cold eyes and said the words that would haunt her for months, "You were convenient, Sophia." That's all. But the betrayal didn't end there. In the weeks that followed, Sophia discovered the truth. Lucas had been using her name to sign contracts. Fake documents. Fraudulent deals with investors who thought they were working with a legitimate couple. When the deals went bad, when the money disappeared, it was her name on the paperwork. Her reputation destroyed. Her savings drained by legal fees. She lost everything. Her job. Her apartment. Her sense of self. Portland, the city she loved, became a prison. Everywhere she went, people whispered. Former friends stopped calling. Doors closed. Sophia Moretti, the girl who worked hard and dreamed carefully, was left with nothing but rage. And that rage needed a target. She spent months researching. Late nights in cheap hotel rooms, staring at her laptop screen until her eyes burned. She learned everything about Lucas. His business connections. His debts. His enemies. And that's when she found Ethan Callaway. Ethan was a ghost in the business world. Not because he was unknown, but because he was untouchable. CEO of Callaway Technologies, a company that dominated the West Coast tech industry. He was 34 years old, a self-made billionaire who started coding in his parents' garage in Seattle and never looked back. But what interested Sophia wasn't his success. It was his connection to Lucas. They had a history. A partnership that ended badly 5 years ago. Lucas had tried to steal clients from Ethan's company, spread rumors, sabotage deals. Ethan crushed him. Quietly. Efficiently. Lucas never recovered his reputation in certain circles. Ethan Callaway was exactly the kind of man Lucas envied. And that made him perfect. Sophia flew to Seattle on a rainy Tuesday morning. The city rose from the water like something out of a dream, all glass towers and gray skies. She checked into a small hotel near Pike Place Market, where the smell of fresh fish and coffee mixed in the air. She had one chance. One opportunity to approach him. The opportunity came at a tech industry gala at the Four Seasons. Sophia bought a ticket she couldn't afford and wore a black dress that made her look like she belonged. The ballroom was filled with people who controlled billions. Conversations about stocks and startups floated through the air like smoke. Ethan was standing alone near the bar, checking his phone. He was tall, lean, with dark hair and eyes that looked like they hadn't smiled in years. He wore a perfectly tailored suit that probably cost more than Sophia's entire wardrobe. She walked up to him. No hesitation. "Ethan Calloway," she said. "I have a proposal for you." He looked up. His expression didn't change. "I don't take meetings at parties," he said. "This isn't a meeting," Sophia replied. "This is an opportunity. I want to marry you." That got his attention. They talked for 20 minutes. Sophia was direct. Blunt. She told him everything. About Lucas. About the betrayal. About what she wanted. "I need power," she said. "I need status. I need to show Lucas Grant that he didn't destroy me. And you need a wife." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "What makes you think I need a wife?" "Your board of directors thinks you're married to your work," Sophia said. "They're worried about your image. A CEO who never takes time off, never has a personal life. It makes investors nervous. They think you'll burn out. Or worse, that you're hiding something." Ethan's jaw tightened slightly. She'd hit a nerve. "So you want a business arrangement," he said. "Exactly," Sophia replied. "You get a respectable wife who looks good in photos and keeps your board happy. I get access to your world. Your connections. Your name. We both win." Ethan studied her for a long moment. His eyes were cold, calculating. Then he said something that should have been a warning. "All right. I accept. No questions. No hesitation." Looking back, Sophia should have wondered why he agreed so quickly. The wedding happened 3 weeks later in Seattle. It was small, private, held in a boutique hotel overlooking Elliott Bay. The ceremony lasted 15 minutes. No family. No friends. Just a judge, 2 witnesses pulled from the hotel staff, and a contract. Sophia wore a simple white dress. Ethan wore a dark suit. They exchanged vows that meant nothing. When the judge said, "You may kiss the bride," Ethan gave her a brief, cold kiss that felt like a business transaction. Because that's what it was. Sophia moved into Ethan's penthouse that same night. It was located in one of Seattle's newest luxury buildings, all glass and steel rising above the city. The apartment was massive. Modern. Cold. Everything was in shades of gray and white. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed the city spread out below, the Space Needle glowing in the distance, the sound dark and endless. It felt like living inside a photograph. Ethan showed her to her room. Yes, her room. Separate from his. "I leave at 6 in the morning," he said. "I'm usually back after 9 at night. The kitchen is fully stocked. There's a car and driver available if you need to go anywhere. My assistant will add you to my calendar for any public events." "That's it?" Sophia asked. "That's it," Ethan replied. "You have access to everything you need. Credit cards, connections, invitations. Use them however you want. Just maintain appearances in public." He turned to leave, then paused. "And Sophia," he said without looking back. "Don't go into my office. It's locked for a reason." Then he was gone. The first month was strange. Sophia barely saw Ethan. He was a ghost in his own home. She would hear him leave in the early morning, the sound of the elevator descending. She would be asleep when he returned. But Sophia didn't waste time. She had a mission. She started attending charity events, gallery openings, society luncheons. Places where Seattle's elite gathered. She wore designer clothes purchased with Ethan's credit cards. She smiled. She made connections. She made sure everyone knew she was Mrs. Calloway. And she made absolutely certain that Lucas and Melissa knew. She posted carefully curated photos on social media. Her at a gala. Her at a wine tasting in Woodinville. Her overlooking the city from Ethan's penthouse. Every post was a message: I won. You lost. Lucas saw them. She knew because he tried to reach out. First through email. Then through a mutual acquaintance. He wanted to talk. He wanted to explain. Sophia ignored every message. Let him burn. But as the weeks passed, something started to bother her. It wasn't guilt. It wasn't second thoughts about the revenge. It was Ethan. He was too perfect. Too accommodating. He never asked questions. Never showed interest in her life. It was like she didn't exist to him except as a prop. And then there were the strange details. Late-night phone calls he took in another room, speaking in low, urgent tones. Documents she glimpsed on his desk before he quickly closed his laptop. The way he sometimes looked at her when he thought she wasn't watching, like he was studying her. Analyzing her. And the photograph. Sophia first noticed it during her second week in the penthouse. It was on Ethan's desk in his locked office. She'd only seen it through the crack in the door when a cleaning service came through. A small silver frame. A woman with dark hair and a bright smile. Young. Maybe mid-20s. Sophia had never asked about it. But she thought about it constantly. Who was she? An ex-girlfriend? A relative? Why did Ethan keep her photo in his private office but nowhere else in the apartment? 2 months into the marriage, Sophia decided to find answers. It was a Thursday night. Ethan had texted that he would be late, stuck in meetings. Sophia waited until 10 p.m., then went to his office door. It was locked, as always. But Sophia had watched enough YouTube videos to know how to pick a simple lock with a bobby pin. It took her 15 minutes of fumbling, her hands shaking, her heart pounding. The lock clicked. She pushed the door open slowly, half expecting an alarm. Nothing. Just silence. Ethan's office was like the rest of the apartment. Minimalist. A large desk. A leather chair. Bookshelves filled with business texts and tech manuals. The window behind the desk showed the city lights, blurred by a light rain. Sophia went straight to the desk. She opened drawers carefully, looking for anything personal. Files. Photos. Anything that would explain Ethan Calloway. In the bottom drawer, hidden under a stack of old contracts, she found an envelope. It was thick. Unsealed. Sophia opened it with trembling fingers. Inside were photographs. Dozens of them. Photographs of her. Her at a coffee shop in Portland 2 years ago. Her walking to work. Her at Powell's Books, browsing the poetry section. Her with Lucas at a restaurant. Photos from before she ever met Ethan. Photos she never knew existed. Sophia's stomach dropped. Her hands went cold. He knew. He knew who she was before she approached him. But how? Why? She kept digging through the envelope. At the bottom, she found a newspaper clipping. Old. Yellowed. Dated 5 years ago. The headline read, "Young woman's death ruled suicide after business scandal." Below was a photo of a woman. Dark hair. Bright smile. The same woman from the photo on Ethan's desk. Sophia read the article with growing horror. Emily Calloway, age 26, was found dead in her apartment. Her death came weeks after her fiancé, Lucas Grant, was accused of using her name in fraudulent business deals. Friends said Emily was devastated by the betrayal and the public humiliation that followed. Lucas Grant. The same Lucas Grant who destroyed Sophia's life. Emily Calloway. Ethan's sister. Sophia heard the elevator. Panic flooded her system. She shoved everything back into the envelope, closed the drawer, and ran out of the office. She barely had time to close the door before Ethan walked into the apartment. He stopped when he saw her standing in the hallway. His eyes went to the office door. Then to her face. He knew. "Sophia," he said quietly. "We need to talk." They sat in the living room. Rain hammered against the windows. The city below was a blur of lights and movement. But inside the penthouse, everything was still. Ethan didn't yell. He didn't accuse. He just looked tired. "You found the photos," he said. It wasn't a question. Sophia nodded. Her voice was shaking. "You knew who I was. Before I approached you. You knew about Lucas. About what he did to me." "Yes," Ethan said simply. "Why?" Sophia demanded. "Why didn't you say anything? Why did you let me think this was my plan?" Ethan was silent for a long moment. Then he stood and walked to the window, his back to her. "Emily was my younger sister," he said. "She was kind. Trusting. She believed in people. She believed in Lucas." His voice was flat. Emotionless. But Sophia could hear the pain underneath. "He destroyed her," Ethan continued. "He used her name for fraud, just like he did to you. When everything collapsed, Emily couldn't handle it. The shame. The public humiliation. The betrayal. She took sleeping pills. I found her 3 days later." Sophia felt tears sting her eyes. "I spent 5 years investigating Lucas," Ethan said. "Building a case. Gathering evidence. I was going to destroy him legally. Financially. Completely. And then you showed up at that gala with your proposal." He turned to face her. "You were perfect," he said. "The perfect weapon. Lucas's ex-fiancée, married to his old rival. It would destroy him psychologically. And I could use you to get closer to him, to gather more evidence." Sophia felt like she'd been punched. "So I was just a tool. A pawn in your revenge?" "At first, yes," Ethan admitted. But nothing." Sophia stood up, her hands clenched into fists. "You used me. Just like he did. You're no different." "I am different," Ethan said, his voice rising for the first time. "Because Lucas is going to prison, Sophia. Not just for what he did to you and Emily. For everything. I've been working with federal investigators for months. Wire fraud. Tax evasion. Money laundering. He's finished." Sophia froze. "What?" "It's over," Ethan said. "The FBI is building their case. They'll arrest him within the month. And you're safe. That's what matters." "Safe?" Sophia laughed bitterly. "I'm trapped in a fake marriage with someone who manipulated me from the start." "I know," Ethan said quietly. "And I'm sorry. I truly am. But there's something else you need to know." He pulled out his phone and showed her a text message. It was from an unknown number, sent to Sophia's phone. She recognized her number. The message read, "I know about the fake marriage. I know everything. And I'm going to expose both of you." It was from Lucas. Sophia felt the world tilt. "He knows," she whispered. He's desperate, Ethan said. He knows the investigation is closing in. He's trying to discredit us before he goes down. If he can prove our marriage is a sham, he thinks it'll damage my credibility as a witness. What do we do? Sophia asked. Ethan looked at her with those cold, calculating eyes. But for the first time, Sophia saw something else there. Something almost human. We finish this, he said. Together. If you're willing. The next 2 weeks were a nightmare. Lucas launched a social media campaign, posting vague accusations about Ethan and Sophia's sudden marriage. He reached out to gossip blogs, trying to plant stories. He hired a private investigator to dig into their lives. But Ethan was ready. He released a carefully worded statement through his company's PR team, expressing disappointment that a former business associate was spreading lies during a difficult time. He and Sophia appeared together at a charity event, holding hands, smiling for cameras. They played the role of happily married couple perfectly. Behind the scenes, Ethan worked with the FBI. He provided them with documents, recordings, evidence that Lucas had been systematically defrauding investors for years. And then, on a cold morning in November, Lucas Grant was arrested. Sophia watched the news coverage from Ethan's penthouse. She saw Lucas being led out of his apartment in handcuffs, his face pale, his expensive suit wrinkled. Reporters shouted questions. Cameras flashed. It was over. She should have felt triumphant. Victorious. This was what she wanted. What she planned. But all she felt was empty. That night, Ethan came home early. He found Sophia sitting by the window, staring out at the rain. It's done, he said quietly. I know, Sophia replied. Ethan sat down across from her. For a long time, neither of them spoke. The marriage contract has a termination clause, Ethan finally said. 6 months from the wedding date. That's next week. You can leave. I'll make sure you're taken care of financially. A settlement. Enough to start over wherever you want. Sophia turned to look at him. Is that what you want? Ethan was silent. Then he did something Sophia had never seen before. He let his guard down. I don't know what I want anymore, he admitted. I spent 5 years focused on one thing. Revenge. Justice for Emily. And now that it's done, I feel lost. He looked at Sophia, and his eyes were no longer cold. I used you, he said. That's unforgivable. But these past few months, having you here, it made me realize something. I'd forgotten what it felt like to have someone in my life. To care about someone other than a ghost. Sophia felt tears rolling down her cheeks. You broke my trust, Ethan. Just like Lucas did. I know, he said. And I don't expect forgiveness. But I want you to know that somewhere along the way, this stopped being about revenge for me. You reminded me that there's more to life than anger. Than pain. You reminded me how to be human again. Sophia wiped her tears. Her heart was breaking and healing at the same time. I don't know if I can trust you, she said honestly. I understand, Ethan replied. But if you decide to stay, even just a little longer, I promise you something. No more lies. No more manipulation. Just truth. And maybe, if we're both willing, a chance to build something real from all this brokenness. Sophia looked at him. This man who had used her. This man who had also protected her. This man who was as damaged and lost as she was. She had a choice. She could walk away. Take the money. Start fresh somewhere new. Leave Seattle and Ethan and all of this pain behind. Or she could stay. Risk her heart again. Try to build something real with someone who understood betrayal and lost the way she did. It wasn't an easy choice. But sitting there, in that cold penthouse, with the rain falling and the city glowing below, Sophia realized something. She wasn't the same woman who flew to Seattle looking for revenge. That woman was broken, angry, desperate. This woman was stronger. Scarred, yes. But stronger. And maybe, just maybe, two broken people could help each other heal. Sophia reached across the space between them and took Ethan's hand. "No more lies," she said. "No more lies," he promised. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. It wasn't love. Not yet. But it was a beginning. And sometimes, that's enough. So what would you do? Could you forgive someone who used you, even if they were trying to protect you? Or is broken trust something that can never be repaired? Leave your opinion in the comments. I really want to know what you think. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. We have more intense stories, full of drama and plot twists coming soon. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Your presence makes all the difference.